Thanks very much. A-level students in England, Wales and Northern Ireland learned their results today, and overall the pass rate is up. But for the second year in a row there's been a slight fall in the proportion of students getting the very top grades of A or A star. Here's our education correspondent, Rita Chakrabarti.
It's a day of high emotion for girls and boys alike. Tears of happiness were on display, though there will have been private tears of disappointment too. But here at Arthur Terry School in the West Midlands, the overall atmosphere was very upbeat.
I've got a B in English Literature, a C in History and a B in Fine Art, which I'm really happy about.
I didn't do as well as I wanted to, but I got in, so every cloud has its silver lining, so I'm very happy with that.
The results nationally show a mixed picture. The overall pass rate rose slightly to 98.1%. But the proportion of top A and A star grades went down by 0.3 of a percentage point. Meanwhile, more pupils are taking A-levels in the sciences, maths and economics.
There are destinies being decided here and all over the country, but this year it's a buyer's market for young people with good grades who want higher education.
That's because universities can this year recruit unlimited numbers of students who get an A and 2 Bs or above. It means AJ, who's done better than expected, can trade up.
I initially applied to Biomed at Aston, but because I've got much better grades than I thought I would, I'm going to upgrade to a better course, which is optometry at Aston University.
What was your GCSE English grade?
And universities are actively chasing good applicants like AJ. That's why a sought-after university like Birmingham has gone into clearing, which is traditionally for those who've missed their grades.
What the new system does with this ABB threshold gives us new flexibilities. It means that we can recruit as many students as we wish and who wish to come above the ABB level. And so what that's meant is a number of universities, knowing that there are very well qualified, ambitious applicants out there, have gone into clearing in order to give them, those applicants, the opportunity to come and study at an outstanding university.
Around the UK, teenagers in Northern Ireland continue to do the best, with pupils in Wales coming behind those in England. For the second year running, those getting the very top grades overall dipped slightly. Why?
It does look as if perhaps some students have been opting for the more difficult A-level subjects where it's a bit harder to get an A or an A star. But ultimately this is down to the integrity of the exam system, in which we have complete confidence in.
The system has so far worked smoothly this year, and for hundreds of thousands of teenagers, it's a day they'll never forget. Rita Chakrabarti, BBC News in the West Midlands.
So some happy faces there. Well, with me now in the studio is Sillars, Chief Executive of the sector Skills Council Semta, which provides support and encourages growth in the advanced manufacturing and engineering sectors. So a lot of those students there who've got A stars and A's, now they're going to be sailing into whichever university course they want. But I suppose you will be suggesting that for those who don't do so well, apprenticeships and other courses are a good idea. And how much of a battle is it to persuade students and indeed their parents that that's the right thing to do?
I don't think it's just the A stars and the A youngsters that will necessarily be going into university and something else is an alternative or a lesser alternative. I think where we've got to do is encourage everybody that's achieved so well today, or those that haven't got the grades, to say you don't have to only go to university. There's a really great route into your career which can be the vocational route.
And how difficult is that to sell to school children and perhaps their parents who have been used to imagining their children will always go to university?
I think at the moment the great thing is that there's quite a lot of youngsters, we've seen quite a lot in the press today where people have been going into apprenticeships. They've actually decided not to go for university. They've decided at 18 or 16 even that they've had enough of education as it stands and they want to get out, earn and learn, get into the working world, get surrounded by people, and therefore some of the youngsters are actually encouraging their friends and colleagues to go into it. I think the challenge is getting parents. Many of people of my generation have been really aspirant for their kids to go to university, and I think perhaps we've shunned the alternatives because we need to have it on an equal basis.
Yeah, but some might say that at 18, a lot of people have full-time jobs at 18, but some children grow up later than others, and actually it was a luxury to decide what you wanted to do over the next 3 years when you're at university. Are you saying that that luxury just doesn't exist anymore, just because of the financial pressures that students are under?
I think the shock for many that they're going to get high debt, unless they are absolutely certain that they're going into a university degree where they can actually get the research, the qualification, the requirements that they need to be able to parachute into those careers. But you've actually got lots of examples where youngsters have gone to university and then been fiercely disappointed that there haven't been the number of vacancies or opportunities outside specialism areas. So they've got some debt and they haven't actually got the career of their choice. So choices need to be, I think, made that if actually at A-level, great results today, you want to get into the working world. We've got really great people coming through that have come the vocational route and just done it as well.
You've got your own children, I think, haven't you,
I
as
do,
well?
yes.
And has that, have you gone through some sort of transformation in terms of your attitude to where you think your children should have ended up?
Absolutely. My son actually is an ocean yacht master instructor. He needed all the practical qualifications, had to learn how to read a sextant and cross the waters. He didn't want to do the university piece and went straight for the practical training. And is now highly qualified. My daughter did want to go to university and she went to Sheffield, had a fantastic experience, and she then had to decide where she wanted to take that degree. If I was the mother of young children now, I'd be much, much keener to say what's right for them, what's the opportunities. And I'd wish in some ways we could follow like the German model, where vocational training is absolutely on a par with academic, and it's not seen where you started is one. If you've got higher grades, you go here, and if you've got lower grades, you go there.
But just to pick up on that, because we touched on it at the beginning, why is that? So why is it so different in Germany in terms of attitudes than it is here?
I think it's been embedded in the education and system of progression for a very long time, so it's actually become the norm.
Okay. Sarah Sillars, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.